Well, like the man said, I built this thing one piece at a time, and now it's time for the final reveal. Well, you didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? Wait a minute. I forgot my tools. Let's see. Proper tool. So, without further ado, I give you the K 7.5, basically. All done and ready. Oops, forgot those. They're in the mail. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So this is a 6-cylinder truck. That is a Isuzu 6BB1 diesel engine. I believe it's rated at about 125 horsepower and somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 foot-pounds of torque or something ridiculous like that. It is obviously a transplanted engine, but has all the diesel bells and whistles like dual batteries and all the things involved in a swap. There she is, all done. So I'm a big fan of vehicles that have a backstory. I know a lot of people are. The backstory, if you're not familiar, I think I covered it a little bit in some of the initial videos, but the gentleman who built this is not the gentleman I got it from. It was his son. It was built back in the late 80s, early 90s from the story I got, and this engine was brand new. This Isuzu 6BB1 that's in here, and I suppose he got it from one of the suppliers back then. You could just buy just the Isuzu engine for transplants, and they put these engines, they transplanted these engines into a lot of things, Fords and a lot of square bodies, and you don't see too many of them left anymore now, but you can still find them. Anyway, the story I got was this engine was brand new when he put it in, which I tend to believe, because from what I've discovered, it just doesn't seem like it has much on it at all. And then he adapted it with the correct expensive adapters to the SM465 and all the engine mounts and everything that he made and adapted nicely. And he built the bumpers and everything, but he didn't get to drive it much from what I was told. I passed away not too long after, and it just sat. I guess no one in the family was too interested in driving it. It was kind of a monument to him, and I guess they just sort of let it sit out in the back 40, and well, there it sat for 32 years, and the son figured, well, he might as well pass it along to somebody or try to get rid of it or something. He didn't want to junk it. You know, this was like his dream project, and it was the last project I guess he did. So when I did get the engine running, I of course took it too far and figured that, you know, maybe I should fix this thing up a little bit, and well, it turned into a full, not restoration, but rebuilding. But I do appreciate a good backstory and original things like this bumper that was hand built by the original builder, and you know, this winch that he put on and mounted everything that's period correct, and all of these things. I wanted to preserve them as much as possible, just kind of a testament to the original build, because when you take those things off underneath, it's just a pickup on a Blazer chassis. But these are the things that make it unique and what it is. All of the little things, these special tail light brackets he made to, you know, the normal lights would be up here and they would mount through the back, but you can't mount them right that way because the fender's right up against the pillar, so you can't really use those brackets. But all those little things kind of preserve the original build and still keep it recognizable. I don't know if I still have the son's contact information, but I may send him some pictures just to know that his dad's work has come back to life somewhat. Now, there were some things in the original build that I decided that I wasn't going to pursue, like he had stacks, a stack on each side for the exhaust going up in the gap between the bed and the fender, and he had a CB antenna. The CB in the truck was gone. If it was still there, I probably would have kept the CB, but someone had robbed it. And he did have some chrome, some more chrome than was one on this truck, and he had some side steps, and he had an eyebrow across the front windshield. I wanted to keep some of the original spirit, but you know, you want to add your own flavor to it as well. It's part of building things, and in the spirit of that, I didn't keep the original 5-hole wheels. I went with these black steel wheels. These are 17-inch wheels, easier to get tires for. The original ones were 15-inch aluminum wheels with the 5-hole spoke pattern. And polished up, they would have looked really nice, and they would have fit with his kind of extra chrome pattern for the truck. But other than, you know, the mirrors and door handles and just a few pieces of chrome, that wasn't the look I was going for. I just, you know, more subdued is kind of my build style on this and what I was looking at. And it also saves a little money because less things I have to add back on. Would like to add some side steps, and one thing I would like to add to this in the future is a roll bar. One of the tube roll bars in the bed, just because I like the look of them. It's a very, you know, 70s kind of thing. Maybe add some KC lights on top or something, but I think a jet black roll bar on this thing would just look absolutely fantastic and help set it off, especially with the short bed. But you know, a lot of this was inspired by some of the toy trucks I played with as a kid, you know, and they were all these you know, lifted step sides and everything. And as soon as I saw this truck, that's exactly what it reminded me of, and I knew that I needed it, not just for the diesel engine, but you know, I wanted to bring the truck back to life. And that has kind of kept me motivated throughout this whole thing, that, you know, this is I played with these kind of trucks as a kid, and even the bright yellow kind of fit into that scheme. It's just so many memories and everything, and I just saw that and I'm like, I can get behind that build, and I can put some emotion and some energy behind that. And that's important for a build, because when they drag on so long, you can really rapidly get demotivated and peter out, and it just, you know, goes on marketplace and gets sold for scrap price, and you know, the next person has a project that they're never going to finish, and it just never gets done. But something like this that you can emotionally get behind these are the things, the rare projects that I do, builds from the ground up. Those are the things that I try to focus on and try to keep me going, because I've done this too many times to, you know, forget that you can easily end up with a pile of parts and no motivation. And that spirit of preserving things kind of went a little bit into the interior, as well as saving money. I wanted to save these bucket seats. He had adapted these custom, and I don't know exactly what they're out of. I think they're out of, these trim pieces have Firebird part numbers on them, and they are the right trim pieces for these seats. So I don't know, they don't look like Firebird seats to me, but that's what the trim piece part numbers say. But things like that I wanted to preserve because, you know, like, that's how you know that this is the same build, that it was the same truck, and it's not just, you know, some other truck. Even though so much of this has been replaced, because all of the sheet metal, except for that bed center section and the tailgate, all of the sheet metal has been replaced. This is from all other trucks. So here we are. Well, as Jack London once said, the purpose of man is to live, not merely to exist. So, without further ado, let's drive this thing. I've been waiting a long time. Let's do this. Well, I had hoped that this stool would... I can't reach it. Yeah, this little stool's not going to do the trick. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, road manners are not so great. Top speed is low, and pretty low gearing on the axles. This thing, I think, is made for off-road, but I don't have the heart to take it off-road yet because it's still clean. So yeah, this thing is a beast. It has no road manners whatsoever. It is slightly underpowered like I expected, but part of that is the gearing. I mean, you've got 3 usable road gears because you can't really use low because you can't downshift into it. You can if you double clutch and everything, but I just, you know, if you're used to driving a big truck, fine. But 3 usable road gears, and I did the calculations and the axles are geared at 411s, 410s. And of course the transfer case is 1-to-1 unless you're down in low range. So top speed limited. I don't know what we're going to do about that. This thing has a red line of 3,200 RPM. That really is enough to take it up to highway speed, but you're really pushing the red line. And I'm not brave enough yet. Maybe some point in the future we'll do that. It is an interesting truck to drive, I'll tell you what. It's fun. It was worth the wait, is what I'm saying. And hopefully it was worth the wait for everyone who followed along on this project. I apologize it took so long. It was not my intent in the beginning, but in the very beginning my intent was not to do all of this and go this far on it. But we did. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now. We're gonna do some shakedown on this thing coming up, but for now, here it is in all its glory. If you like this and you like what we're doing here, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the culmination of this project and my year and a half of hard work. Did I do a bad job? Did I do a mediocre job? Probably mediocre. You know, there's some body work and things I could have, you know, really shined it up and made it a lot better, but that wasn't my goal. But anyway, tell me what you think down below. Good or bad, I can handle it, I think, I hope. And as always, thanks for watching.